Hey guys, so today is my birthday. Oh my god, so excited. So I had to, of course, make a podcast celebrating the best person I know in my life. Drumroll, me. Hi everyone, welcome to a Free Society podcast. My name is Hadiza, aka Luscious Hadiza, and today is my birthday. I'm so grateful, for how far I've come. I'm so grateful to be the woman that I am today. It's been a very long time coming, and this birthday in particular is just one that's really special to me because I feel like now more than ever before, I'm beginning to know who I am. I'm beginning to get more and more comfortable in my own skin. I'm beginning to understand myself like I've never understood myself before. Okay, I know I just rushed in, but let me give you a little bit of a backstory. Usually on my birthdays, when I wake up, it's, as much as I like to party, my birthdays are usually a time of like introspection for me, as I think it is for a lot of people. But particularly for me, when I wake up, I find myself brooding, thinking, and I also feel like being born in December. Shout out to all the Sagittariuses out there, period. Okay, being born in December, you're celebrating your birthday literally at the end of the year. So you're not just looking at your birthday, but you're also looking at all the things that you set out to achieve in the course of that year. So it's usually like a time of introspection for me, where I look back at everything that has happened. I check whether I achieved my goals, whether I didn't achieve my goals, the state of mind I'm in, what I said I was going to achieve for myself, and I find myself sometimes not feeling like I have achieved those things. So it's usually time that I spend being sad, to call it speed is speed. Most of my birthdays, I wake up, I'm thinking, I find myself crying. I don't know if it happens for everybody, but it definitely does happen for me. My last birthday was so fun, but in the morning, I cried, and I can't even, put my finger on why I was crying, but I think it's basically what I'm trying to say now. When I look back on everything that happened in the course of the year and how I probably fell short of the expectation that I set for myself, it gets me in a mood, and I find myself being sad and, unnecessarily sorrowful on my birthday. But this birthday is special. I don't know, I'm not getting emotional, but when I look back on my life and everything that I've been through, I can't feel any emotion but to celebrate myself, celebrate my life, and be thankful for how far I have come. I have had so many things, being thrown at me. I'd seen my life going a certain way, and it was actually going that way until stuff happened and my life just got knocked all the way, upside down. And I feel like everybody has that moment in life where it's like something happens that just flings you completely off the rockers. It's like you're moving this way, your train is going choo 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 choo, just happy and along that way, and then something just comes out of nowhere, and just kicks your train, of course, and then you find yourself spilling down the hill, struggling to grab the railings of the little branches, and everybody has that moment in life. It might happen when you're young, it might happen when you're old, but I feel like everybody has that moment in life where your life gets turned all the way around, and for me, it happened when I was in my 20s. I had seen my life going in a certain way. I had set expectations for myself, and in the line of the expectations as well that society sets for us as women. I had set those expectations for myself too, and somehow things just didn't go as planned. And it took me literally 6, 7, 8 years trying to recover myself back to the state of mind, the happy-go-lucky person I used to be, the person who actually saw life as, a glass half full than a glass half empty, So it was a struggle. It had been a struggle, and I used to find myself not being excited about being born, because there were times when this experience I'm talking about was something that drove me close to almost committing suicide at some point in my life. But I'm beginning to understand more and more that life happens, life happens, and it happens to all of us. Nobody is spared. And the beautiful thing about these experiences, as terrible as they may seem in the moment, these are the experiences that are taking you closer to the fulfillment of who you are, to the knowledge, to the understanding, and the celebration of who you are and your unique self, your uniqueness, and everything that surrounds it. Some of these things that happen to me, they are not things that I would take back, because the truth of the matter is, if some of these experiences didn't happen, I wouldn't have found myself becoming the woman that I am today. And oh my God, I celebrate the woman that I am today, because she has really been through the fire and she's out now shining like a phoenix, renewed, refreshed, reborn. Now, I am a 30-plus-year-old woman. I feel like there should be a little bit of mystery in a woman's age, so I'm not gonna tell you guys how old I am exactly, but just know that I am in my 30s. I am well into my 30s. Before I got to this point, I used to approach my birthday with apprehension, because we all know how society, let's not pretend, we know how society is. Once you're 23, 24, 25, marriage, you must marry. And thankfully, the kind of family I came from, my parents were never the type to put us under any form of pressure. But the truth of the matter is, even if you aren't pressured by your parents, it's still something that is common in the society, especially Nigeria, especially Nigeria. I wanted to say Africa, but I feel like Nigeria takes the cake, so let's just stick with Nigeria. So especially Nigeria, there are certain standards that they hold to people being, especially women, being married at a certain age, having kids at a certain age, and it's like, if you have not achieved these things, you are literally looked at as a failure. And let me tell you the truth, around when I was 26, 27, 28, I think those 3 years were the most pivotal years when it came to my getting into a place of equilibrium, when it came to settling down and marriage and all that. Almost all my friends were getting married around that period. Everybody was getting married. But then there was this particular friend. That there's always this friend. She's not even like a friend. She's like a cousin. So somebody that both of us were in the same age range and all. And you've always seen yourself as the one who will get married first, the one who will do everything first between both of you. And then I was working in Kano then. I had this bank job and I was working in Kano. And then my sister just reached out to me and tells me that, this, cousin is getting married. And I'm like, what? Hell to the freaking no. How? I mean, now I look back at it and it's ridiculous, but that was what I was thinking then. It was like, how? How did it happen for her? She that's not serious about life. She that doesn't even know what she wants to do. I always felt I was the woman with a plan. And to be honest, I actually got engaged at the age of 23. And I was set to marry. But then life happened. That's a story for another day. So we'll just put a pin on that. We'll come back to that story another day. So at this point in my life now, I was literally comparing my life to this girl. And I was like, no, it's not possible. How is she possibly getting married and I'm still here, single, a single Pringle? At the same time, some guy had been chatting me on Facebook and all that, and we started getting to know each other. He's somebody that I had known from like secondary school years, but we were never really close like that. So he seemed to be doing well, he seemed to have everything going for him, and I was like, okay, let me see how I can, bend over backwards to ensure that I marry this guy, so that this girl will not marry before me, or even if she marries before me, I will shall marry close after her. I know it sounds ridiculous, but guys, this is real life. So I now started hanging out more with that guy. I went to see him where he used to live and work, then a different city from where I was living, and I found myself doing things that I wouldn't normally do, just because I was trying to perform for this person to really like me and ensure that he marries me. Like, I was cooking for the guy. I was just being like a wife with no title, literally, and of course it didn't work out, because I learned the hard way, obviously, that when you try to perform for love, you get the worst. You literally get crumbs, So it wasn't even a relationship that I would consider a good relationship. But at the end of the day, it was a learning process for me. So many things I took out of that experience. First of all, you are wasting your time if you sit down comparing your life to other people, because life happens to all of us in different ways, and it just expresses itself in different ways for all of us. And no matter how you want to look at somebody else and say, oh, what's this person doing? How is this person getting on? How can I, push my life to be more like this person? It doesn't always work in that particular way. You have to live your life for your own self, not for anybody else. So I realized that comparing myself in that moment was such a bad thing, because it was literally pushing me, and that desperation was literally pushing me to do things, lower my standards. In fact, I had zero standards. My standards were on the floor, lower my standards completely, just because I didn't want somebody to move ahead of me. And there's no competition, nobody can move ahead of you. You are moving at your own pace. But it literally had to take me that experience to understand that I'm moving at my own pace. I'm not comparing myself to anybody, or I'm not competing with anybody. And then second of all, I also realized from that experience that when love comes from a place of, number one, understanding who you are totally, being completely and totally in love with yourself, number two, and number three, being at peace, in the sense of, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, we keep it moving. I didn't know all of those things then, and it was just a really, really, really crazy time in my life. Then also societal standards, that's like the third thing I took from that experience. I was so desperate to get married before I was 30 that I was ready to be the woman that I wasn't, just because I wanted to ensure that this standard that society has set, I'm going to, it's like a race. I'm going to win, because I don't want to fail, obviously. So I struggled, and on my 30th birthday, it was a very emotional time for me. I think I even fell into a little bit of a depression, because I was jaded. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know who I was, but I was still insistent on these things happening. But after I crossed that 30 mark, it was just like some kind of peace came over my life. Like, oh wow, I'm not dead. Like, I didn't die. Wow, okay, I'm still alive. So what other choice do I have but to keep it going and to keep moving with every other day? I'm just saying all of this to say this. Society really holds women to very, very, very stringent standards, very rigid standards, and sometimes we could find ourselves just becoming who we are not, because we want to perform to the expectations of society. Now, please don't get me wrong in any way. I am 100% for marriage at any point it comes in your life, whether you're young, whether you're old, whichever part it comes. If you're in your early 20s or your late 40s, any which way it comes, I'm 100%. I support the institution of marriage with all my heart. I believe in it, and I believe that is one of the most beautiful things that can happen for a person. But what I don't agree with is when society pushes, especially women, like I said, to get married at a certain age, because most of us have not even discovered who we are at that point. Some people are lucky. Some people find lovely patient partners even when they are young, who can walk with them, walk the process of life through with them, while some people are just not that lucky. So as much as I am an advocate of marriage, I'm also an advocate of taking that time to really know yourself and understand who you are. So you don't find yourself seeking love from a point of desperation, from a point of, I just want to check this off my box, regardless of whatever it is that you're taking in the process. So I know that I've completely digressed from talking about my birthday, but I'm saying all of that to say this. Now that I am literally, like I said, sitting pretty in my 30s, this is the time that I feel the least pressure to, not that I don't feel pressure, but, the way I used to feel pressure then, it's like I've gotten over that. I see myself now as a woman in progress, a woman who is taking that time to love herself, know herself, heal herself, and open myself up to that true, beautiful, authentic love that I know I deserve and I know that I am going to enjoy in my life. Now, on this birthday, I am so happy. Like I said, I am so excited. I woke up in a beautiful hotel in Ghana that I've never been to. Ghana is a beautiful place, and I'm so excited to be here. I met my best friend of 10 years that we've had like the best relationship, but we've actually never seen each other in person, and we're having this amazing vacation together. And I cannot begin to say how thankful I am to be here, how thankful I am to know who I am now, how thankful I am to be in a place where I am living on my own terms. I am living for myself. Hadiza Adetutuata. I am living 100% for her, not because of what anybody says or anybody thinks. I am living for myself, and I am so full of gratitude. Like I said, all of these experiences just pushed me to understanding myself, finding myself, knowing myself, and appreciating myself, knowing my worth for the person that I am. So this birthday, like I said, is a very special one. I am so thankful for the experience, so thankful to be living, so thankful to be alive, so thankful to be at peace. And, I'm beyond excited to be seeing another year, to be spending it celebrating. So I just want to thank you all for listening to this podcast. If you hear it, say a prayer for me, as I will be saying a prayer for you as well. Thank you so much for your time, and God bless you. See you in our next podcast. Bye.